Okay, I've never played Medieval Total War before, or I guess that this is a series of games called Total War, and Medieval is the first one. Is that right? I've never played any of these games. I don't know what they're like. This is on my list of games that I constantly confuse with some game that involves a cartoon skeleton, which might just be called Medieval. There's like two or three other ones. I think Beyond Good and Evil is another one that I always confuse with it. Anyway, don't know what I'm doing. Hopefully, it doesn't crash my capture card when it switches resolutions here as I boot it up. And I'll keep an eye on the equalizer. Let me know if it's too loud or too quiet. We're going to start with it says there's a tutorial on the title screen. So we're going to try the campaign tutorial and the battle tutorial. Shogun Total War was the first one? Oh, interesting. Okay. Graphics. Really good for 2002.
A world of fear, power.
Wow, that's a lot, Dark.
And death. But a few forge their destiny. Medieval Total War.
Hey, Swixen, how you doing? Every time the Elgato switches resolutions, it terrifies me that it's going to lose audio or crash, so doing my best here. Let's see. So I think we want to do campaign tutorial and then battle tutorial, and then we might be out of time. We're only playing for about an hour today, but that might be enough for me to see what this game is like. I don't know that there's anything I want to mess around with in here because I don't really know what any of this means yet, so let's just go ahead and start and see what happens. Hey, Nubulator, how you doing? Welcome to Medieval Total War campaign tutorial. We'll defend the forces of England from a northern invasion by the armies of Scotland. You hold sovereignty over the lands of Wessex, Mercia, Northumbria. Okay. Intelligence has sent urgent reports. An army's been sighted massing in Scotland to the north. Let's inspect it. Red and white banner gives an idea of its size. The amount of red shows a number of men out of a maximum of 1,000. Okay. So they have like 550 or something. This is the review panel. Shows the composition of the Scottish army. Guide to its size, you can see much more detail. 3 units, each of 180 men. Okay. 540. Number to the upper right of a unit icon shows a unit's valor, which is 1 for each of these units. It's this one here. Rank of the general is shown in the small white flag with the gold star. This one. Okay. That means the general is with the first unit. Our defense is the army in Northumbria. You can see it has less red in its banner. Review your troops. 60 spearmen and 60 archers. 120 men will have no hope of defending Northumbria should the Scottish invade. Let's see what we can do about this. Need more troops to defend our lands. In Wessex, which is south of our current position, we have a castle where we can train units. Use the cursor. Also push the mouse against the edge of the screen to scroll. Okay. Can only train troops in provinces where you have fortifications or buildings. We have a castle here. Click on the castle. You can see there's 100 archers. Need more than this to defend Northumbria, so let's start training. Click on unit training. Got it. Shows you which units can be trained, which units are queued for training. You can train 1 unit per year at most. 1 unit of, okay. Just like 1 person. Train units of peasants. Click on the peasant icon. Number beneath the hourglass next to the queue shows how many years it will take to train the unit. Close the panel by clicking the X. Okay. I love all of the like little rewarding comments. Great, well done. We now have troops in training. We've got a unit of archers sitting in the castle. We'll remove those archers from the castle and move north. Click on the castle. Focus on the castle. Drag and drop to move the unit of archers from the review panel to the army already deployed in the field in Wessex. Move the unit to the army sitting in Wessex, which is this one over here. Drag and drop is a hard task to get right. I'm very sorry, I'm trying. Okay, I have to wait for it to be highlighted. Will light up when it's correctly over the army. You've merged the archers. The review panels automatically switch to display the joint army. Move the King's army piece in Wessex up to Mercia. Let's see. Just here, basically. There it goes. Nothing left to do. Commit our orders for the year. Click on end year. Okay, so this game is not high stress, real time, very turn based, it looks like, at least in this phase. The Scottish invaded Northumbria just as we feared. The combat panel presents your options for a battle. Since we have no chance of success, please select the option to abandon province. I like this way of framing the tutorial at the beginning, putting us at a disadvantage here. I was going to save, but okay. Abandon the province. Lost control of the province of the rebels. You lost the province. The population may revolt against their new masters, particularly if you had held the province for a long time. Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay. Let me find... There's a particular web comic that the wording of the tutorial reminds me of. Akewood's like one of my favorite comics of all time. Anyway, the Scottish have taken our province, Northumbria. You can see that your army from Northumbria has retreated into Mercia. If you ever abandon a province and have nowhere to retreat, your army will be eliminated. Smart. You no longer own a province which is a neighbor of Scotland. We can't get information on Scotland. Oh, and can't see armies there. All is going according to plan. Strike back immediately with our forces in Mercia. Is it Mercia or Mercia? Drag and drop to move the army which retreated from Northumbria into the King's army in Mercia. Like so. Got it. Pick up the King's army and drop it in Northumbria. Mercia. I'm bad at British place name pronunciations. There's how do you say the name of the sauce? Worcestershire sauce? Worcestershire? It's almost as bad as French. You just skip a bunch of the letters sometimes. The thing that looks like Gloucester is pronounced like Gloucester or Gloucester, right? Anyway, the castle in Wessex has a red and white banner showing that it contains troops. Our unit of peasants should be trained and ready. Click on the castle in Wessex so we can bring them into the field. Drag and drop. Okay. So there's a limit to how far they can go per year, it looks like. Right, they have to go here first. I can't just send them straight to Northumbria. End year. English is French, spoken poorly by Germans. Worcester? Worcestershire? Worcestershire. Rebels have decided they cannot win the battle and are retreating. Taking control of the province from the rebels. Can now control the province. So there wasn't a battle because the computer decided to abandon. Kind of like how it gave me the option to begin a battle or abandon. I just selected abandon, so... Okay. You can control the province. You may need to maintain a garrison to ensure the loyalty of the local population. Stronger than when we started. You move the king up. Lead your troops. Let's take another look around and begin our plans. Information on Scotland again. Reposition the view on Scotland. On the Scottish army. 3 units of 180 men with 1 valor, led by a general with no rank. This pitiful army of 540 men will pose no problem to our forces. Okay. You have 21 royal knights, 160 archers in 2 units, and 60 spearmen. Rank of your king, as shown on the white sash with the gold star, will boost the effectiveness of the whole army. Ah, okay. So that's separate. I thought the gold star was a general. The arrow was pointing at this like crown sword icon. 100 peasants coming from Mercia will have 341 men. Rather than shuffle troops up from Wessex, we will now build a fortification and train extra troops. You select the province. The review panel shows the buildings in the province. One you can see is called a watchtower. Presence of a watchtower that's allowed you to inspect the army in Scotland. So I already started with a watchtower, but I can build a fort now. Okay. Fort, inn, farmland, border fort, copper mine, port. Construct 1 building per year at most. The crown doodad is a royal thing. Okay. Queue to fort for construction. Time to build. Fort should be ready in 1 year. Okay. Bring the army of peasants north into Northumbria to join the rest of our forces. So the idea is that this will affect the AI of the enemy. That if they see this big army, they're not even going to bother trying to attack if they see these guys. Commit the orders for the year. Fort complete. That stock sawing noise. They can be used for battle as soon as they're built. We can strike into the heart of the Scottish. Feed back up to Northumbria. Train. Oh, I should have read that before I started scrolling. Merge the armies. Pick up the king's army and drop it onto the army of peasants. Oh, that's... this seems really stupid, but I'm struggling to... There we go. Surprised they had me do the one that was in the back and drag it on the one on the top. Does it matter what order you do those in when you're combining armies? I assume no. View panel shows the combined army. Ready to strike into Scotland. Train another unit. Should have sufficient force for a successful attack. Click train units. Now, I'm only able to train these because I built the fort. Is that right? Unit of peasants we were training in the fort is now ready to be deployed. Click on the fort. Yep, got it. Drag the peasants here. Finally ready to march in Scotland. We're outnumbered. We have superior troops and a superior general. Are we outnumbered? No. Pick up the army and drop it in Scotland. Let battle commence. Battles are fought after all moves are completed. We launched our attack into Scotland. We have nothing left to do but commit our orders for the year and wait to see the enemy. There's no turning back now. In the full game, you could choose to fight the combat in the full 3D battle environment. Let's just let the computer resolve the conflict for now. Automatically resolve the attack. You win. Lost more men than we would have liked. Waiting a few more years to train more troops in Northumbria would have produced a more decisive victory. Glory is yours. The Scottish are defeated. Added Scotland to your kingdom. That ends the campaign tutorial. You now have mastery of the basic elements, so we'll see about that. Alright, so now I want to look at the battle tutorial. Well, let's do the battle tutorial, but I'm already wondering, like, how reliable is the auto-resolve? Is there very much that I can do actually running a battle to influence its outcome, I wonder? Sicily. How to control the camera, how to select units, how to give orders to units, how to change formations. Oh, this is like a series of tutorials? Okay, we might not even get through the tutorials today, but that's okay. I think the point is to see what the game is like, how it was structured, that sort of a thing. You could do better than much better than auto-resolve.
Greetings,
Oh,
my
wow.
lord.
This looks
You
really
must
nice.
learn how to lead your armies if we are to win the coming war. I will teach you.
Control the camera, select your troops, issue orders, listen to the general and follow the instructions. Use arrow keys to move and explore. Once battle commences, movement of the camera will be restricted to the line of sight of your troops. That's interesting. Hold shift to speed up the camera. Okay. You can also look at the overview map, which is at the top left of the screen. This map is very useful. This map is very terrifying. This looks like an RTS map. There's a small icon on the bottom left of your screen. It represents a unit of your soldiers. Chivalric Knights, and how many men are in the unit? 60. Okay. Left-click the icon.
Well done.
Double-click to jump to it. Oh, the camera being stuck on their line of sight is an option I can disable. Select your knights, move the mouse pointer over them. You can see information about their status, including their current action standing, their morale, impetuous, and their fatigue level, fresh. Each of these are important in battle. Oh, interesting. So that makes me wonder if this game is like... It has that like giant battle simulator quality, like, you know, the tech that they were using in the Lord of the Rings trilogy that was super exciting, simulating each of the different soldiers fighting each other. Cavalry units are strong attacking units and have the benefit of great speed. They're vulnerable to spearmen and do not fight well in forest. Okay, makes sense. Left click by the base of the flag.
That's it.
Movement's kind of cool. Total War's claim to fame is the number of individuals involved in battles. Cool. That would be consistent with the first movie that I noticed it in was the Lord of the Rings films, Fellowship of the Ring in particular. Had the big like CG battles where if you paid attention you could see like individual orcs fighting individual humans. Double click orders your men to run to this point. When they run, they'll become tired more rapidly.
Your troops do well to obey your commands.
Yeah, if you ever are curious, if you look at the live split timer in the top right corner, I put the release year there, or whatever it's listed on How Long to Beat in Wikipedia. Attack orders are issued in the same way as movement orders by left-clicking on the enemy to attack and double left-clicking to charge. Before you launch into battle, we'll learn how to organize units into formations. Hold down the left mouse button and drag it left to right between the two flags. Drag your unit formation into a line. Oh, that's kind of cool.
That's very good. A strong commander is the backbone of his army.
While changing the shape of the formation and the facing, you can also change which type of formation your men are in. There's a row of buttons at the top of the screen, orders that you can give to your units. If you hold your mouse over each button, a tooltip will come up showing you what this button does and what the keyboard shortcut is. Orders which aren't available are grayed out. Okay. Position the mouse over your unit. Menu will come up which gives access to the same orders. Oh, sure. A little terrifying. I'm not going to spend too much time looking at that. Saracen intruders have been sighted by our scouts. Organize your men in formation to prepare them for battle.
That is not it.
Loose formation. Makes them most vulnerable to arrow fire. It's not the best formation for hand-to-hand combat. So there's close, loose, wedge. This is one of those things where it's like the mathematics of combat are like well simulated in video games, it feels like, right? You know, a lot of the times when you're trying to represent something in a video game, you have to do a lot of abstraction. But it's kind of neat how, like, you know, physically a loose formation or a wedge formation or whatever is effective against certain kinds of terrain or certain kinds of opponents. I've always enjoyed that in video games. Move your knights closer to the enemy by left-clicking near the base of the flag, which is in front of you.
Iron discipline. That's the way to control your men.
Thank you, narrator. The mechanic of headshots in FPS games designs itself. Exactly. Absolutely. Totally what I was talking about. Change your men into a wedge formation by clicking on the flashing wedge formation button. It's effective for charging and breaking their line, but it's not useful for defense. Okay.
Now is your first chance to lead your men to victory. Good luck, my lord.
Double click on the enemy to charge them. Hey, we got that stock red-tailed hawk noise. Oh, that's pretty cool. 2002 as well. So why is the wedge good for charging? I guess I haven't really thought of that.
Serf would not now be ready to go on campaign.
Enough for the brash to abandon their training and begin total war. Use this next small battle to practice what you've learned before we move on to controlling a larger army. Play the next tutorial. When you hover over it, it tells you how the combat's going. I'm guessing I don't have a lot of, like, micro once I've told them what to do. Practice the basics of commanding your army. Use the camera controls to keep an eye on the action, so you can take advantage of enemy mistakes. Smashes a hole through the enemy line, effectively giving you an internal flank and breaking morale. Okay. Dispatch the 3 enemy units. I'm probably going to fail at this now. Now, is the idea that they should stay loose until they get close and then wedge when we charge? Speed slider. This guy. Control T toggles between maximum and normal speed. Okay, good to know. Oh shit. Units fight less effective. I didn't think they were going to start fighting automatically like that. Okay. Turn max time off. That was a mistake. Which focuses your charge to a point and expands the breakthrough. So what's the downside to staying in wedge when I'm this far away? Can they, like, get me with arrow fire or something? Oh, I see. So there's archers over here, which could be a problem, right? Charging too early. Oh, is that because I double-clicked? Cavalry should not face spearmen head-on. Do I have another option? Like, how else would I face them but head-on? Makes sense that spearmen should be strong against cavalry, right? Being attacked by missile weapons. Like, like split my army in half and hit them from both sides, or? Engage at will, hold formation, loose close wedge. Good grasp of controlling a small force. Kind to say so. Next pair of tutorial and practice battles will show you proper tactics. Different units are strongest when they support each other. Yeah, so I don't... Is there a formation for a circle around them? Because I feel like if I pick close, loose, or wedge, they're just one big, like, blob of units, right? So how would I get around them, like you're saying? Next tutorial. How to group your units together, how to give orders to groups, how to use your archers, how to change combat states, the advantage of height.
Our army has crossed into Bulgaria, where we will defeat the decadent Byzantines and their mercenary lapdogs.
Use your army into groups of units. Advantage of height, how to use your archers. You have 2 units of archers. You can see them down here. Vertical bar on the left side. This shows their remaining ammunition, okay. Select the first unit of archers, hold down control and left click the second unit. Makes sense. Give them orders at the same time. Left click on the group button.
That's it.
Oh, I see. It puts them together there. Cool. And now I just click this bar to select both of them. Gotcha. Simply press the group button again when the group is selected, but leave them grouped for now. Sure. Control both units with one click. Select your entire army by pressing Control A. Makes sense. Okay, Control double click. Cool. Having a height advantage is important. Gotta have the high ground. Longer line of sight, greater range. Troops become tired if they march uphill. Units fight better fighting downhill. Down the left mouse button and drag the cursor left to right between the 2 flags. Reshape the formation.
Yes, that is right.
Okay, so it just treats them as one giant unit when you do that, it seems like. Yeah, maneuver around, I still don't know what you mean by that. It doesn't seem like I'm controlling the units in such a way that I could put them around. Like, the word around doesn't make sense to me. It would in a game if I could, like, select half of them and say, okay, you guys go here, and then half of them and say, you guys go here, but if I just have this big blob, right? You can organize groups into formations by clicking on the group formation button. It's useful for organizing your army. Double line.
Well done,
that makes
lad.
sense.
You're learning fast.
Maybe they'll get into that in a later tutorial. Holding down the left mouse button, drag out your group of archers between the 2 flags. They stay in the double line formation because I've already selected that. Okay. Oh, cool.
Good. Your men are following your orders.
Is that because the units have a inherent penalty to attacks that come from behind? Like, don't they just do a 180 and face their attackers instantly? This might be a hindsight thing, that if you've already played Total War games, what y'all are saying makes perfect sense, but the way I'm looking at the game right now, I'm imagining the cavalry running up to a group of spearmen and, like, running behind them, and the spearmen just, like, flipping to face them instantly, right? You have a unit of spearmen. Spearmen are generally vulnerable to fire from archers, but are good at defending against cavalry and can hold their own against other infantry. Left-click the spearmen. You can turn to deploy them between the 2 flags. To defend the archers, sure.
Well done. The discipline of your troops is impressive.
All the spears are pointed in one way, and you charge them the other way, you're better off. The whole formation doesn't turn easily. Okay. So, like, if the computer tried to turn to face me, they would do it as slowly as this. It's like liquid dynamics. By the time they finish turning as a unit, I could have already done a bunch of damage to them, it sounds like. Because I'm just picturing each individual guy just, like, flips instantly. Make sure your spearmen stay in this defensive position. Press the flashing hold position button at the top of the screen. Archers are grouped. The great bar. Archers are good at attacking from a distance, but should be kept out of hand-to-hand combat except as a last resort. Notice the flashing skirmish button. Archers default to skirmish. Okay. In skirmish, projectile troops keep their distance from the enemy by moving backwards when threatened. Sure. Makes sense. They play Left 4 Dead with the opposing army. Back up and shoot. Keep your archer selected and move the mouse cursor over the enemy unit. Green arrow next to the cursor shows the enemy are in range. Okay. Left click to start firing at them and to encourage them out of position. Enemy approaches, fire your arrows at them, then engage with them. So if you're ordering archers to charge in hand to hand. Whoa, that was pretty cool. So they're just going to be firing automatically, right? And my spearmen are going to fight them automatically as well, I would hope. Essentially, they get hit by enough arrows that they're going to start marching toward me, I guess. Order your archers to attack hand-to-hand by holding down the Alt key and left-clicking on the enemy. Don't do so yet, it's too early. When you give an order, they continue to pursue that order until the target is dead, they are dead, or routed. Okay. Want to save ammunition, or if a sudden assault can swing the battle. I feel like I'm going to run out of ammunition here, but I am getting... They are dying slowly but surely. Automatically go hand-to-hand when they run out of ammunition. Okay.
Each type of unit has its strengths and weaknesses, but it is through mastering how to combine them that you will crush the enemy.
Battle is yours. Is there a reason to hold the line versus charging them in turn with my spearmen? About to be out of ammo, right? No, it helps if they try to charge, basically. And it said double click has the archers fighting in hand-to-hand. I guess your double click worked because they were out of ammo, right? The enemy's better at charging than you. Hold position. If you're better at charging, charge back. Okay. My archers are generally pretty bad at hand-to-hand. They'll do it if they have to, but they'd prefer not to. obviously there's a lot of like hesitation because it's a tutorial. They don't want to let the computer just like stomp you, but like how accurate is this to historical battles? Lots of specific lines and formations of soldiers and just kind of like waiting on opposite sides of the hill until somebody struck first, or I've heard the whole rigmarole about like guerrilla tactics in the American Revolution, and I don't know if that's like actually true. the pro-US narrative that they teach in school is that, oh, the British would just line up and the Americans surprised them by hiding behind trees and popping out of cover and stuff. I'm like, I feel like that's probably not completely true. Yeah, if you do some timestamping, Squixon, it produces quite a bit more SP than watching on Twitch. If you're interested in checking that out, there's some details in the FAQ under the channel, or ping me on Discord and I can send you the spreadsheet. Pre-guns, pre-accurate guns, formations were important. Once you have accurate guns, lining up is a bad idea. Depended on the battle or campaign. Every other game I've played that involves armies fighting each other has been pretty heavily abstracted compared to this. I'm sure there's still like a unit size abstraction going on here, that we're probably not dealing with dozens or hundreds of people, dealing with many more than that. But it's enough that your crowd of like, I don't know, 30 Marines in StarCraft or 20 Paladins in Warcraft is probably not very representative of what it would actually look like in practice. Once battle erupts, formation is exceptionally important to keep people next to you alive. Overlapping shields, weapons designed to cover neighbors, preventing surrounds on a small scale. So, what if I wanted to do this less stupidly? It looks like having all my spearmen in a line is wasting a lot of them. Would I just switch? What would be the best way to switch them to something more productive? Close, maybe? Well, no, there's still... Okay, correct, because I have to click and drag to tell them the shape that I want them to take, right? I guess the whole idea of clicking and dragging to form a formation shape is pretty unique to this series. I was fine with the extra spearmen on the edges. I just thought they were standing far to the left and right, just kind of standing there doing nothing and hold. Well, I mean, like, at this phase of the fight. Earlier, when I had archers behind them doing stuff, but the archers are all basically dead or hand-to-handing. Won this battle, learned about some of the factors which affect combat. Affect combat. Use the next battle to practice these skills. When you finish, you'll be ready to move on to some more advanced combat. Yes, I was worried about the archers. When they ran out of ammo, it said that they were going to attack on their own. So how would the archers help in hand-to-hand once they ran out of ammo without them going ahead of the spearmen like that? Like, can we wait until the enemy army gets to the spearmen and then send the archers in slightly behind them so that the spearmen are tanking? Is that a way to think about it? Changing the formation after they were in battle means a bunch of them broke contact. Oh, that's a weird concept. Now that you have a grasp of command. Let me fight uphill by occupying the high ground whenever possible. Make sure some of your units are grouped together so they can be used as a hammer. Make sure your archers have a good field of fire. A wedge is perfect for a charge. Loose formation is better when being peppered with arrows. Okay. Closed in on advantageous terrain. So the skills learned to combine terrain and troop mix. Smash the defenders. They're leaving me to my own devices, aren't they? Uh-oh. Where are the defenders? Oh, this is what we're saying about my camera is locked to what they can actually see. Do I have to, like, scout to see where we're fighting guys here? May as well group the like units, right? Being on the top of the hill will give me a better line of sight. It's kind of cool. Are there certain formations that are better at scouting? Let's see. Kind of like that when you put it on max speed like that, they occasionally slow down. High ground gives a tactical advantage. Troops attacking downhill do more damage. Oh, the army's behind me. Some unit types that are better at scouting. And you have to send the entire formation out to scout, right? Not, you can't like send a guy out. Hold on. Shit. I think I'm in trouble here. Okay, it took too long to set up here. We'll see what happens. I'm a little worried though. What made the archers face the wrong way? Archers are more effective in lines of 2 or 3, so these guys are too deep, basically. Start firing because they've been set to fire at will. Archers are skirmishing, trying to keep out of melee combat. So what I've had to have turned, it's kind of awkward to turn the camera around the top of this hill. Like I've got an invisible wall behind me, so I can't really look to face them the way I'm supposed to face them. Right to left would make them look backwards from the camera's perspective, is that true? Gotcha. It makes a little bit more sense. I might lose this one, but I think I understand what they're trying to teach me a little bit better, at least, so that's helpful. I like the dust being kicked up. That's kind of cool. Is it a problem that the archers are moving around like this in between my spearmen where they're not well defended, or are they going to do their best to like get back up the hill where they're safer? They actually seem to be behaving really strangely based on what I told them to do before. Like, now they're just getting into melee even though they have full ammo. Archers can shoot in a 90-degree arc from the direction that they're looking. Some of my archers also appear to not be doing anything for some reason. Can't seem to get them into 2 lines. Maybe I went too far towards an invisible wall and that's causing problems for me right here. I thought I told them to fire before. Arrows can kill your own men. Oh, yikes. Skirmish away from the spearmen flanking to camera left. I thought that they were set to do their own attacking, fire at will by default. So I get this whole group of spearmen that aren't doing anything. This game's going to take me a while to understand. I'm sure it makes sense once you've played a lot of it, but right now, I guess I'm expecting the computer to do more on its own than it is. I think it's more dependent on my micro than is apparent here. Spearmen are effective against mounted units. So this says that they're in range, and oh, that's nice. It tells you whether you're winning easily. But I couldn't really see them firing there for a bit. How bad is the friendly fire situation from archers? Only if they're facing an enemy, which they weren't at the time because of the placement confusion. So even though they were on fire at will, because I did the line from left to right instead of right to left, they all faced away and then did nothing. I like the idea of like a shape-based combat game where you're mostly focused with the way formations are laid out and their positioning as opposed to who's being told to target what. So are these spearmen like trying to get behind and flank my archers or something? Like, I don't know how smart it would be to try to turn my archers' fire onto them. I guess the advantage of turning my archers' fire... they'll pursue the target until they get into range. Did I, though? You managed to organize your army so the units worked well together. I don't think that I did. At least I saw what I did wrong, I think, but... Your units were organized, for very liberal definitions of the word organized. Learn some tactical finesse. Morale, hide units and set ambushes, cover, and waypoints. Okay.
Our war with Byzantium
Skill ceiling for micro is high, but the floor for
cannot
success is
progress
not.
until you
Okay,
achieve victory.
that's good to know. That's true even outside of the tutorial. I thought maybe the computer was throwing the battle a bit because it's a tutorial. You'll learn some more advanced combat tactics, the importance of morale, how to set ambushes and use cover, how to give waypoint orders. Understanding morale can be critical to victory. Oh, was I targeting the general? I didn't realize that. Does targeting the general like hurt morale or something? The most effective ways of lowering the enemy's morale is to launch an ambush. 2 units of spearmen who are positioned near a forest on either side of the enemy. I see. This unit of spearmen is the tree symbol showing on their icon. They're hidden from the eyes of the enemy. Oh, anytime you're in a tree, like if I had enemies in the trees, I wouldn't be able to see them. Left click to select this unit of spearmen. Put them in the forest. And cavalry suck in forests, right? Which is probably both a real-life flavor thing that it's harder for the horses to run around in formation in the forest, but also a balancing thing that would be too strong if they could just freely ambush. Attacking from behind, losing your commander, dead friends, affect morale. Okay. Tree symbol appears in the unit icon indicating they're concealed and ready to ambush. That tree icon. Hiding. Trees provide cover from missile fire. Cavalry fighting amongst them fight less effectively. Knights are your general's unit, indicated by the star on their icon. That star there. Your general's unit can't hide, but we'll use them to outflank. Okay, preventing them from hiding makes sense for balance reasons. Attacks the enemy flank or rear are more effective than frontal assaults. We're getting to the stuff that you guys were talking about a couple tutorials ago, as though it was like self-evident. Waypoints can be used to give complex movement orders, which can allow you to move your troops around behind the enemy. Left-click your knights to select them. Set the first waypoint, hold down the shift key, and left-click on the ground by the flag. Set the second waypoint, hold down shift, click by the flag. Okay, so they're going to go here first and then turn and go here. Okay. The reason for doing it this way is that if you don't use waypoints and you just select the ultimate destination, they're just going to take the shortest possible path to it, which might result in them going through the enemy instead of going behind the enemy. I'll click next to the flag without pressing down the shift key. Oh, you're good, Nubulator. Everybody was doing it who's played Total War before. It's the fundamental challenge of being a streamer and watching a streamer, right? Remembering the things that you can't forget.
Yes, that is right.
Forgetting the things that you can't forget. There we go. Cleared all your waypoints for this unit. Given the unit new orders, they will now march to the flag. The enemy will advance towards your peasants and archers. Leave these men in position so they will draw the enemy into the ambush. Okay, meaning don't touch them, basically. I don't have to, like, select them and pick hold. Hey, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Cypress. Thanks for saying hi. Valley orders throw into attack from the woods and charge your knights into their rear. That seems extremely specific. Can I save in the middle of... No. Probably not in the tutorial. Unit is on the verge of routing. A white flag will flash on their unit icon. Verge of routing means verge of losing all morale and surrendering. Now run away. Try to regain control of them by clicking the rally button at the top of the screen. If the unit can't be rallied, the button will be grayed out. Okay. So it's just a chance for me to, like, achieve something by paying attention to notice that it's happening. Seems to only happen on the campaign map. Okay. Oh, this is just how it was lined up by default, Leon. I didn't put them here.
Spring the trap, and we will prevail.
Enemy are advancing. Is morale binary in the sense that it does nothing until it causes them to flee, or are they like less combat effective for each point of morale they lose? Or is it like hit points where I only really care about the last hit point? Okay. My other group's not showing as being in the forest anymore. I think I may have sent them out a little bit too late here. Underestimated their speed. So, how does the game perceive this as an ambush? Like, try selecting these guys here. Is it just the fact that they got hit from behind that's causing them to lose morale? Yeah, I think I started a little late here, unfortunately. These guys are probably all gonna die horribly. Wavering. Routing. Being hit from the side or by a unit that they didn't see. So, is their line of sight influenced by the direction that they're facing? Like, if somebody came out of ambush, like if you were playing this PvP, which I don't even know if PvP is a thing in this game. Oh wow, these guys are really trying to focus down one person, aren't they? Golly. This was a shit show. I did this wrong. I should have sent them out a little bit earlier. I had the wrong unit. I had the knight selected by default, and that screwed me up. If I come out of the forest and I'm no longer listed as being hidden, and they're marching forward, can they literally not see me, or would they? If it was another player, would they see my units creeping up behind? Oh shit! Don't do that. I want to cancel whatever I'm doing here. Oh god, this is not what I mean to do. There we go. They could see. These guys are all fleeing. Depending on the timing, they might not have time to regroup. Losing badly. Courage, worried about the casualties. Encouraged by the general. I see. Running away. And part of the objective is just to get them all to run away. It's not necessarily completely wiping them out. It's interesting, in tactical RPGs, I almost always see the phrase rout to mean, like, eliminate. Obliterate. Not force them to flee. You have experienced many of the most important aspects of combat. The next battle will challenge you to apply what you've learned. Once you've won, you learn how to fight a siege and conquer a castle. So I don't think I'm able to do the next tutorial in 2.5 minutes, so we might wrap here. I'll credit your time a little bit here, Nubulator. But this game is cool. I like how it has a kind of very different approach to, like, this sort of combat that I'm used to from playing RTS games and, like, in tactical RPGs. It seems more shape-based, so it's going to take me a while to get my brain around it. Future Marstead, I don't think I can give you a summary of everything you just learned in a quick Future Marstead thing, so maybe watch the VOD if you get some time before the next episode of Medieval, and just kind of tab through the different tutorial levels to see what they're teaching you. This game's really cool, thank you. I'm excited to play more Total War games. Oh god, my cat is standing on my keyboard here.